Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can we start? Yes, yes.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sarvana Raghunatamvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sargana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you for this Nityam Bhagavad Sevya sessions, which is very nicely conducted. Okay. Prabhu, you can allow me to share the screen. So today we will be continuing the discussion that you all have been having since few weeks. So today's section is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 8, Shloka number 45 onwards. So this is a very nice start about the description of the beauty of the Lord, or description of the bodily features of the Lord. So if we see this whole the episode, so Dhruva Maharaj is the key person in this whole episode. So he wants to sit in the lap of his father, but then he is not allowed to sit on the lap of his father. So because of just a minute, I'll just share the screen. Okay. So hope you're able to see the screen now. So he was not allowed to sit on the father's lap.
Prabhuji, multiple things are there on the screen.
Oh.
Zoom is also there, and
okay. So let me share again. Window. Okay. This is okay now?
it is getting shared, Prabhuji. It's not yet there.
Okay. So, so Dhruva Maharaj is a key person. So he wants to like sit in the lap of his father, whereas his brother Uttama is already sitting on the lap of his father. So, but then the father is hesitating, because his dear wife Suruchi, Uttama's mother, is there, next to him, and she doesn't like, she wants her child to be there, with the father, and she doesn't, give much value to the other wife, that is Suniti, and the father also, because of having very much affection towards this another wife, he also did not give much importance to his other wife. So then Dhruva, the son of Suniti, he actually felt the heat of it. So because he was not allowed to sit on the father's lap. So then he went crying. In fact, you would have heard many other details, like how Suruchi actually pierces the heart of Dhruva by sharp words. She in fact says that if you want to sit on the father's lap, then you should perform tapasya. And in that maturity of tapasya, you should give up your body, and then you should take birth in my womb. So then after that, you will get the opportunity to sit on the father's lap. So then Dhruva comes back crying. So there are many things that you would have heard. So one very important thing, which I heard from one of our Bhakti Shastri teachers, who came to our center. So he mentioned that this may be there in some other places about the same pastime. So, but it is very, very touching aspect. So when this child crying and coming to the mother, so the mother actually says that you see, like, I am just a poor mother. What can I help you? So you should take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So maybe like my co-wife, she has spoken so many things. It may have been very piercing to you. But then one good thing she has told, one good thing the Sunati has told is that you have to take shelter of Krishna. So you should take shelter of Krishna. And Krishna is like millions of mothers. And what can I do? One single small mother? No, I cannot do much. But then you should take shelter of Krishna. And Krishna can actually protect you. No, so Krishna can actually give you shelter. So in that way, like Suruchi, sorry, Suniti, she actually encourages the son, and then like she in fact quotes also that how it's their family business to take shelter of Krishna. So in the past, their great grandfather, Lord Brahma, he took shelter of the Supreme Lord to create the universe, and then his son Manu Maharaj, so he took shelter of Krishna to rule the kingdom. And then in this way, like all our ancestors have always taken shelter of Krishna for doing anything, anything in their life, they always took shelter of Krishna. So then after that, the boy actually gets convinced, no, this is the way, this is the process of getting things. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita also this particular process is mentioned, that when the Supreme Lord created this universe, or Supreme Lord created the material things, so he created the material nature, he created the living entities, he created the demigods, and he created the process of like worshipping the Supreme Lord. So when we do yajna, which is meant to please the Supreme Lord, so then when the Lord is pleased, then the demigods will supply all the needs and necessities of the living entities, right, who are performing the yajna. So yajna is the process. So right now in the modern day, like if you want to make a living, so people would say like you should get a good education and you should try to get a good job, and then you can make a good living, right? So in the past, we will see that in the fourth canto itself, in many other places, we will see that. So Daksha wanted to do a particular work. So then he procreated children, and then he asked the children, "You go and do tapasya, and by that you will get the qualification to achieve whatever you want to achieve," right? So this is the general process. Srimad Bhagavatam also says, like in fact here itself, Narad Muni, in the past shlokas you would have seen that Narad Muni would discourage Dhruva, saying that okay, like you have taken up this process of attaining Krishna, or like getting the audience of Krishna, and then through him you want to attain whatever you want to attain. But then, so getting the audience of the Supreme Lord is quite difficult. Many great sadhus and saints, they have tried, and they have still been trying. So they have not been able to reach the goal. So like, please don't try this very difficult task. So you should go home. So, but then Dhruva Maharaj says, no, my heart is pierced. I'm a Kshatriya. So I want a greater kingdom than my father, than my grandfather, than my great grandfather. So it's like, he wants a kingdom bigger than Lord Brahma. So all the tract of land that is available is the whole universe, and that's Brahma's kingdom. And bigger than that, no, there is no other place is there bigger than that. So, but then Narad Muni saw his determination, and then he says something very wonderful to Dhruva. So if anybody wants economic development, or anybody wants anything that they want, the one thing that they have to do is they have to take up to the process of devotional service, right? So akama sarva kamao moksha kama udarati thibrena bhakti yogena ejeta purusham param. So this is this comes in some other place in Bhagavatam, but then it conveys the message that one has to worship the Supreme Lord and please him, and then he will get whatever he is desiring. So this is the Vedic process, right? So it's not that only devotees worship the Supreme Lord. So the karmis, like karma yogis, they worship the Supreme Lord, and jnana yogis, they worship the Supreme Lord, and dhyana yogis, they also worship the Supreme Lord. So karma yogis worship the Supreme Lord, but they have the desire that they want to get something in return. No, they are attached to the results of their work, right? So yat karoshi yad ashnashi yad jugosi tata, like that. So they offer everything in service of the Lord, but in return they want something, for themselves. So that is called karma yogi. And jnana yogi is they worship the Supreme Lord, but then they have the desire of liberation, right? So they want to get liberated, right? So in this way, all the yoga processes, like any of the yoga processes, if we take, so it is worship of the Supreme Lord is there, but then they want something else in return. No, bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakali ashanta, Krishna bhakta nishkama atayeva shanta. So, like all the yoga systems, we see that they perform worship to the Supreme Lord, but they want something in return. But a devotee of the Lord, who is called a devotee of the Lord, who wants to worship the Supreme Lord just for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, and no, and not for getting any results done through him, or getting liberation, or getting any yoga siddhis, right? So such a person is called pure devotee, of the Lord. So if the desire for material things or liberation, or the desire for getting siddhis, they are the prominent reasons for a person to worship the Supreme Lord. So then it gets into karma yoga, jnana yoga, or dhyana yoga, right? So, but then if the worship aspect of the Lord is more prominent, and then they also want some material benefit or liberation, or yoga siddhis, so then it is called Mishra Bhakti. Like bhakti is prominent, but then it is mixed with some other desires, Anya Bilasha. So there are other desires are there. So that is called the contamination, or it is alloyed. No, it is not unalloyed devotional service. It is alloyed devotional service, right? So then when the bhakti becomes very much, and it actually eradicates karma, jnana, and yoga, or the results of karma, jnana, and yoga, so then it is called as pure bhakti, right? So we are all trying to practice the path of pure devotional service. That means we don't want to cultivate desire for attaining some material benefit. We don't want to attain liberation, or no, liberation means we are not aspiring for clearing out our problems. No, we are doing devotional service because we want to offer pleasure to Krishna. No, if there are some problems are there, so we will take shelter of Krishna, we will take the protection of Krishna. But still, if the problems persist, we will just tolerate and execute devotional service, right? So because we just want to execute devotional service, and whatever basic minimum things are needed to solve any problem, we will do. And if the problem doesn't solve, we'll just continue to render devotional service, right? So, and then yoga siddhis, so that a devotee doesn't want, right? So in this way, so we should not aspire for these things, and we should execute pure devotional service. And pure devotional service is the only means to transfer ourselves to the abode of the Supreme Lord. So if any other thing is there, if any other mixture is there, so I want material benefit, no, I want what is that, material results, or I want liberation, or I want yoga siddhis, so then I will not be able to make my journey back to Godhead. So only a pure devotee can make his journey back to Godhead, right? So now, after he meets Narad Muni, so Narad Muni speaks all these things, and then he understands he is so much deeply attached to something material. No, he wants a bigger kingdom. So he starts off with a strong attachment to karma. So, but then the yoga process is that, so like Narad Muni puts him through a yoga process. He tells that you should go to the holy land of Madhuvan, near the banks of Yamuna, and then there you should execute the process of Ashtanga Yoga, right? So, process of Ashtanga Yoga. So he describes all the ways in which the Ashtanga Yoga should be performed, and with that he is also mentioning the aspect of worshipping the Murti of the Lord, and how to actually offer, how to actually make a Murti out of the things that are available in the forest, and then how to offer seva, to the this one, seva to the Lord. So deity worship process, he is actually teaching, and then he is also teaching, Dhruva Maharaj to chant the holy names of the Lord. So it's a complete package. He's giving the Ashtanga Yoga process because his senses are quite this one. So he is having so much of desire to get get the material results. So like something physical is also quite important. And also we have to see that this is in the Satya Yuga. So in the Satya Yuga, the prescribed method of worship is also Ashtanga Yoga, right? So, and when he was doing that portion is there, and then deity worship portion is also there, and then the holy name portion is also there. Like, no, he was initiated into a proper, no, Vaishnava mantra, right? So, and then, no, like when it comes, we are in the section where, Narad Muni is actually describing. So when he wants to, when he is advising Dhruva Maharaj to perform deity worship, so there is no deity, like there is no Loi Bazaar in the this one or some marketplace, no, where you can go and pick up a deity and come. So Dhruva Maharaj is going to Vrindavan of that time, no. So Vrindavan is completely like lush green, and it's a forest, no. So it's, as the name says, it's a forest. So, and Narad Muni is telling you should go to that holy place and you should start worshipping deity. So, where will Dhruva Maharaj get a deity? So, then Narad Muni is describing the features of the Lord so that Dhruva Maharaj could go back and then he can actually make a deity for himself, you know, with the like mud and this one which is available in the forest. And Dhruva Maharaj can make a deity and then he can start worshipping and offering seva to the deity, right? So that's the place we are in. And no, fortunately, this is the first shloka of the description of the beautiful features of the Lord, right? So now,
Prabhuji, can you share the screen?
okay, screen is not shared. Huh? Okay, just a minute. Okay, I think it is shared now. You know?
Prabhuji, last time also when you shared, there's just coming that has shared the screen sharing, started the screen sharing. It's not coming actually.
Oh,
It's fully black. So I stopped the sharing at that time.
okay.
Now it has come. Now it has come.
Okay, okay. ठीक है. So text 45. Prasannabhimukam shashwat prasannavadanekshanam sunasam subhruvam charu kapolam surasundaram. So this is a very amazing, this one. Prasada abhimukam shashwat. Prasada abhimukam. So like prasada means mercy. No, we understand prasad means like no khane wala prasad. So that is also mercy of the Lord. And then there are many different this ones of mercy of the Lord is there. So in fact, in the prayers of Lord Brahma, he says that prasada leshanugrihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimna. So even if somebody gets a little bit of prasad or a little bit of mercy of the Lord, he can actually start to understand the wonderful aspects of the Supreme Lord. So he will be able to uncover the form of the Lord, the name of the Lord, the qualities of the Lord. So we will be able to understand something about the Lord only when we get the mercy of the Lord, right? And then how difficult it is to get the mercy of the Lord. So here we see that the Lord's form is described, prasada abhimukam, always prepared to offer always prepared to offer costless mercy, right? So the Lord's one of the names in South India, like he is very famous as Varadaraj, so we call him as Varadaraja Perumal. So so like Lord is always ready to offer mercy upon the devotees, the blessings upon the devotees, right? And then Shashwat, this means always. And then Prasanna, pleasing, Vadana. So Prasanna Vadana, we might have heard this in many prayers and all. Many places this word is used. Prasanna Vadana means a very pleasing, countenance, a very pleasing appearance of the Lord, a very pleasing face of the Lord, right? So Prasanna Vadanam, and Ikshanam is vision. And he has a very pleasing this one eyes. And Sunasam, very nicely constructed nose. And Subhruvam, very nicely decorated eyebrows. And Charu means beautiful. Charu Kapolam, so forehead, very beautiful forehead. And Sura Sundaram, the demigods, and Sundaram, good looking. Okay, translation. The form of the Lord is described herein. The Lord's face is perpetually very beautiful and pleasing in attitude. To the devotees who see him, he appears never to be displeased, and he is always prepared to award benedictions to them. His eyes, his nicely decorated eyebrows, his raised nose, and his broad forehead are all very beautiful. He's more beautiful than all the demigods. Okay? So he is the best of all the beauty. So in fact, we see that like sometimes people are worried about their facial structure or how they look and stuff like that and all. So how much ever we try, whatever we are, we are. No, we cannot improve much about ourselves. Some facelift we can actually give. So, but then whatever we are, we are. No, but then the Supreme Lord, He is the most beautiful personality, right? And we see that even the most ordinary devotee. So when he describes about the Supreme Lord, so he also becomes beautiful because of his carrying the Supreme Lord. So one time I just heard this a funny story about there is a deity of the Lord that has to be transferred from one village to another village. So then one what is that one person like was chosen to transfer the deity from one village to another, and he had a this one gada, no, क्या बोलते हैं? Ass, donkey. So he had a donkey, and then he actually mounted the deity on top of the donkey, and then he was carrying from one village to another. And then everybody were paying obeisances to the donkey. And the donkey also felt really very nice, I think today people have understood me, I'm so wonderful. And then the donkey actually went to that other village, and then the deity was very, everybody had a festival to receive the deity. And then so the deity was taken, and then this donkey actually came back, and he thought, now I'm a great person, so people recognize me. And then he was coming back this time without the deity, and no, he was not getting attention from the people. No, nobody is offering obeisances to him. So then he started, maybe no, I have to announce that I'm coming. So I think people have not noticed me. So he started singing some wonderful songs, in his opinion, it's very wonderful. So then people started throwing stones at him. And then he ran away from there. So now from this we can actually understand, when people actually offer, most of the devotees here are preaching the message of Krishna consciousness. So I'm not telling anybody as a donkey, I'm just referring to myself. So it's like when people actually offer appreciation that, oh Prabhuji, oh Mataji, some so much wonderful that you have given this message of Krishna. It was so wonderful. So we should always consider ourselves. We are not we are not recipient of these things. It is the Lord. The content that we have given is from the Supreme Lord, either from Bhagavad Gita or from the Acharya Parampara, we have taken or we have heard from a devotee who has heard in the Parampara, and we are just trying to repeat the message of Krishna consciousness, and that is what is bringing in appreciation for us, and that is what people are appreciating in us actually. So it is Krishna who has been appreciated, and it is not me. So when we should try to see in this way, and when we appreciate another devotee, so we should see that, oh, this devotee is so wonderful that he is so much dedicated for the service of Krishna. And we should try to appreciate the devotee in that way. But when some appreciation comes to us, so then we should consider that I'm just a, what is that, carrier of the message of Krishna, and it is the message of Krishna that is so attractive, that is getting the appreciation, right? So in that way, that is the proper Vaishnava etiquette. So Vaishnava etiquette means, so we always see that how we offer respects and to others, and amanina and manadena. So we have to offer respects to others, and we should see how we are just an instrument, and we don't what is that we don't deserve any glory, right? So that's how we should see oneself. So in this now somebody may say this Vaishnava etiquette is quite illogical. No, it should be equally applied to everybody. So but unfortunately Vaishnava etiquette is not equally applied to everybody. So there is one perspective about oneself, and there is another perspective about the others, right? So the materialistic people, they also have unequal vision, and devotees also have unequal vision, right? So materialistic people, they have unequal vision. I am all good, rest everybody is bad, right? So that's materialistic vision. And then like no, as a partiality nahi karna chahiye. So whoever is whatever they are, so we should respect them accordingly. No, this person he is having some good, so he should be respected, and I am also good, I should have to be respected. And then, so, and somebody is bad, like even if I am bad, like no, I should be punished, right? So that is like no, based on the rules and regulations, like no, we should go by the rule, right? So that kind of a this one. So, and then the Vaishnava etiquette means, that means Vaishnava acharan means, so all good for others and all bad to myself, right? So that is the Vaishnava etiquette, right? So we see that, so once somebody who has this kind of an opinion, so he will always be very happy. He can never be sad at all in his life, right? So he can always be very happy. So we cannot artificially imitate this. So we should try to cultivate and practice, and we should try to aspire for this kind of a situation. And when somebody becomes like that, he becomes super attractive, for everybody. He becomes what is it? He becomes a very renounced person, and he becomes very, very attractive in the eyes of everybody around, right? So that attraction is because he has completely taken shelter of the Lord, and this cannot be faked, right? So this Vaishnava etiquette that we were discussing about, so some of the principles of rules and regulations we follow, but this cannot be faked a lot. So this can only be practiced, when we are also simultaneously, practicing devotional service nicely and advancing in Krishna consciousness, and that is when we will be able to practice, this Vaishnava etiquette nicely, right? So now we see that here the description of the beautiful face of the Lord is given. So as I was mentioning, like sometimes people actually try to make themselves better. So but then Lord doesn't need any makeup. Lord is beautiful, just like that he is beautiful. So but then why Mother Yashoda and and other devotees also, they do shringar of the Lord? So like sometimes the shringar of the Lord, you know like what shringar that we offer to the Lord may actually reduce, or actually may hinder the beauty of the Lord. So then we should not do shringar of the Lord. Lord is so beautiful on his own. So no, this is our service. No, we have been given this service, so we should render service to the Lord by offering shringar, by offering the decoration to the Lord. And it is the glory of, means it is not the Lord is becoming glorious by accepting this shringar. It is the devotee who is offering shringar. He is becoming glorious because he has got some connection with the Lord, and the flowers that are used, and the ornaments that are used, and the clothes that are used, they are becoming glorious because they are used in the service of the Lord. So Lord is the source of all the glory. Nobody can make him more glorious than what he is. He is the pinnacle of all the glory, right? So in this way, we see that the Lord has a very, very amazing, beautiful countenance, and prasada abhimukam. One amazing aspect for the devotees is that he is always very eager to give blessings upon the devotees, right? So now this, some devotees, sometimes whenever we present this concept, generally this question comes, is that how can we understand that we are practicing Krishna consciousness, and no, the mercy of the Lord means we will be able to see the Lord, in the form of Nama, Rupa, Guna, and Leela. So at least we should be able to chant very nicely. We should be able to be very attentive in our chanting. So, but then, we are not able to see that. So Lord is not merciful. Lord is not giving mercy to me. So why the Lord is not giving mercy to me? So many times this question comes. So this means that I am all good. I am doing whatever I'm supposed to do. I'm all good, but then the fault is on the Lord. The Lord is not merciful. So this is a very big, what is that? Very big mm, arop. No, huh? Claim. Nahi. Very big. What is that? We are catching the Lord guilty. No, Lord is not guilty. Actually, we are guilty. So in one of the classes from my superiors, I was hearing, so in that this particular point was mentioned, the second stanza of Sikshashtakam, where it is mentioned that Durdaiva Mihajani Anuraga. So I am not able to, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is expressing this, his feeling that I am not able to be attracted to the holy name of the Lord. It is because of my unfortunate position. It is not, the Lord is not merciful. So in fact, in the second stanza, if we study, it is mentioned that the Lord has innumerable names, and then the Lord has invested all the potencies in his names, and Lord is always ready to give mercy to the living entities. No, but then I am so unfortunate. No, I am not able to access that mercy. Right. So this is the proper understanding of this particular aspect. And like in this class, I was hearing that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually explains this particular line. No, Durdaivam, the unfortunate nature. So what is my unfortunate nature? I am not able to access the mercy of the Lord because I'm offensive. Only offenses can shield us from accessing the mercy of the Lord, right? So if we are free from the offenses, so then we will not be we will not be prevented from accessing the mercy of the Lord. So in this connection, we had some time back, we had the Harinam Chintamani seminar, now wherein we had a nice description of Bhaktivinoda Thakur is very, very merciful. He is not just mentioning this much. In the Harinam Chintamani book, he actually explains in detail about what this each of these 10 offenses means. And then if we found to be guilty of any one of these offenses, how we can actually come out of that offense, the antidote to that. And in case if we are not able to understand which offense we are doing, we are completely clueless, then we can simply take shelter of Krishna, saying that I'm not able to understand what offense I'm committing. No, I'm there at your disposal. I just simply want to attain you. No, I just simply want to get your mercy. So I don't know what offense I'm doing. Please enlighten me. Please give me the direction so that I can avoid this offense, and I want to attain you. No, I want to actually have an experience of you. Right. So in this way, a devotee can actually open his heart and he can actually pray. So in that way, we'll be able to access the mercy of the Lord, right? So the Lord is always prepared to offer causeless mercy, and it is our role, to follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, to take the guidance of the devotees, and to avoid the offenses and to access the Lord's mercy, right? So which is always available. And then Prasanna Vadana Ikshanam. So he's very, very pleasing face, and then the very pleasing eyes, that he has got, and Sunasam and Subhruvam, like nicely constructed nose, and then nice brows, and then very beautiful forehead. All these things are very nicely described over here, right? And then the purport. Let us see a little bit of the purport. So this verse clearly explains how one has to meditate on the form of the Lord. Impersonal meditation is a bogus invention of modern days. In none of the Vedic literatures is impersonal meditation recommended. In Bhagavad Gita, when meditation is recommended, the word mat paraha, which means pertaining to me. So mat means like Krishna is pointing to himself. So is used. Any Vishnu forms pertains to Lord Krishna because Lord Krishna is the original Vishnu form. Sometimes someone tries to meditate upon the impersonal Brahman, which is described in Bhagavad Gita as avyakta, meaning unmanifested or impersonal. But it is remarked by the Lord himself that those who are attached to the impersonal feature of the Lord suffer a very troublesome task because no one can concentrate upon the impersonal feature. Avyakta Shakta Chetasam. What is it? Kleshodikattarastesham avyakta ashakta chetasam. So Lord simply mentions that one who is ashakta is one who is attached to the avyakta, so that is impersonal feature of the Lord. So for them, klesha adhikatara, it is adhikatara means like it just, the klesha or the miseries only increase for them. They don't get a very pleasing experience. On the contrary, we see that by the instructions, one of the purports in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when I was studying, so Srila Prabhupada was, again and again in two purports, he was referring to the description of the devotional service rendered by Amrish Maharaj, Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vendayo, Vacham Shivai Kunta Gunanuvarnani, right? So this is a very, very amazing thing. So the different forms, the different features of the Lord, and then the different services that a devotee can render, practically using his senses in the service of the Lord is quite very pleasing. Just offering some tulsi leaves to the Lord, offering flowers to the Lord, and then just meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. It's so very pleasing. In fact, devotees should try to do this aspect every day. Try to meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord and offer some flowers and tulsi leaves to the lotus feet of the Lord. Right. So with the aim, so whenever we are trying to do a service, so what is it that we want to do? Like sevam mikehi jivado swayam eva spuratyada. So we are trying to render service to the Lord. So in order to attract the mercy of the Lord, and why should we attract the mercy of the Lord? Because we are lost without the connection from the Lord, and we again want to re-establish this connection. And this is what is the instruction of our spiritual master. This is what Srila Prabhupada wants, the whole parampara wants, that we can become reunited with the Lord, and we can also help in reuniting many other souls to the lotus feet of the Lord. So first of all, we should have our connection with the Lord. And every time when we are rendering a devotional service, we can just make a humble prayer to the Lord. So I'm trying to render this service. So no, I'm not sure if I'm in the proper consciousness, in the proper way I'm rendering this service, but somehow or other, please accept this small service that I'm rendering. No, and if you are pleased with the service, please bestow your mercy upon me, so that I can actually discover you. I can actually have an experience of you, right? So, and one of the prime experiences that always all of us should try to aspire for is that clear audible hearing of the names of the Lord, right? So whenever we try to render a service, if somebody is offering arati, like, and after offering the arati and they're actually showing it to us, so we are actually taking the arati, or flowers are offered to us, so which are offered to the Lord, like we are smelling the flowers, or we are offering the flowers to the lotus feet of the Lord, or we are offering tulsi to the lotus feet of the Lord. So we should have this prayer that, oh Lord, please be like, kindly please accept the service and be pleased upon me. And if you are pleased upon me, please allow me to hear the names of hear your holy names, right? So in that way we can actually practically testify and verify that our service is accepted by the Lord, and we could able to do to a good extent, we could able to manage to do a service without committing any offenses, right? So we should try to offer every service with this particular mood and attitude, that Lord, please be merciful to me and please reveal yourself unto me, right? So in that way we should try to do that. And then here as usual, we see that Srila Prabhupada is very heavy about the impersonal this one. And as we when we are meditating, like, in fact, this is also one of the practices. So when we are chanting the holy names of the Lord, so we should meditate on the spiritual master's pranam mantra, those who are initiated, and then Srila Prabhupada's pranam mantra. And what is Srila Prabhupada's pranam mantra? Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharini. So Srila Prabhupada's trademark is, like, he is delivering the people in the Paschatya Desh, and specifically, he is defeating the philosophies of Nirvisheshavad and Shunyavad. Right? So now we can actually see the flavor. So this is what Srila Prabhupada is, like, he becomes very, very, like, alert, in establishing the personality of the Lord, and actually diffusing the philosophy of impersonalism, right? So here Prabhupada is very nicely mentioning, see the description that is given in the Vedic literatures. So, like, very wonderful description of the Lord's face is given. And impersonalism says, anything has any qualities. No, it is impersonalism's another terminology is nirvishesha. So vishesha means qualities, and nirvishesha means no qualities. Why no qualities? Why no qualities are encouraged? Because quality means it is describing some form or a feature of something, right? So that means like, only matter can have form, the spirit cannot have form. So that's the nirvisheshavad or impersonalism. So that means when we are describing the beautiful face of the Lord, the Mayavadis or the impersonalists, they actually mention, oh, this is material discussion. No, this is nothing to do with the spiritualism, because you are describing the qualities of some face, so beautiful and things like that. Or like, you're telling that nose is like this and eyes is like this and things like that. Or like, no, it is a material subject, so we should not get indulged in material subject. So that is the flaw of the impersonalism. But whereas like the devotees of the Lord, we understand that the Lord's form is transcendental. So the Lord has a Sachidananda Vigraha. So we have a form, we have this body which is Asat. We know that this body is going to be destroyed at certain point in time. Asat and Chit, Achit, like we have to keep remembering like things what we want to learn, and then like sometimes we learn some shlokas and we forget and things like that, because our memory is not full. No, our consciousness, our awareness, our cognizance is not perfect, right? So we always try to learn things, right? So it means like we are achit. No, we don't have a solid knowledge, inherent in us. And then nirananda. No, in fact, like there is one shloka which La Prabhupada often cites. So he mentions that kleshada, this body is described as kleshada. So kleshada, the means to give, and klesha means misery. So this body is constructed to give misery, So like आनंद किधर से आएगा? हम लोग नाम रख सकते हैं कि like आनंद है. So but then, so originally हम निरानंद. So like we are made of matter. This body is made of matter, which is achit, and then like Asat and Nirananda, right? So when the Lord's form is Sachitananda, and the Lord's form is completely spiritual, and meditating on the form of the Lord by reading these descriptions, what is the benefit that we are going to get by reading the description of the beautiful face of the Lord? So we are actually meditating upon the transcendental subject matter. Anything in connection with the Lord becomes transcendental, but then the Lord himself is the ultimate transcendental subject. So when we meditate on the Lord's features, we are going to become purified. We are going to become like purified of all the material contamination, and our spiritual form will also be uncovered, right? So it is very, very nice. So but then the impersonalists, they actually mention, like we have to meditate on the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, some light and stuff like that, and you have to sit and meditate, and you have to vacate all your desires, and you have to become zero and stuff like that. So these are all not supported by the Vedic literatures. These are all mental concoctions of some, sometimes Prabhupada says like, these are all mental concoctions, like concocted in the fertile brain of materialist or impersonalist and things like that. So somehow like these things have become very prominent in Kali Yuga. So, and in fact, Kali Yuga is a time which is allotted for them, for this all these deviant philosophies. So we are trying to follow the Vedic scriptures, trying to follow these Vedic scriptures. It is not our time. Kali Yuga is not not our time, but still like we are still able to practice and save some people, right? So okay, but it is remarked. Okay, so here we say sometimes someone tries to meditate upon the impersonal feature. So avyakta, the unmanifested impersonal, but it is remarked by the Lord himself that it is very, very troublesome, right? And one has to concentrate on the form of the Lord, which is described here in connection with Dhruva Maharaj's meditation. As will be apparent from the later descriptions, Dhruva Maharaj perfected this kind of meditation, and his yoga was successful. So this is a success story. This is not a proposition. This is not a proposal. This is a success story, wherein the description of this yoga system is given, and he practiced it, and he attained perfection. Right. So this is what we can actually see from the shloka. So there is a little bit time is there, so I'll stop the share. So devotees have any doubts, questions, they can actually put forward. Hare Krishna. Or even something that they liked in the session, if they want to share, they can. Yes.
So you said that those who want desire of material things that are karmis, those who want liberation that are jnanis. And attaining Krishna means one kind of desire. Like,
so that desire is encouraged. That is pure desire.
So that is considered devotees.
Yeah.
Should the devotees.
Yeah. So pure devotees means they don't want to have like Bhukti means material sense gratification. Mukti is liberation, and Siddhi, like any other, this ones. So they are Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi, Kami, Sakali, Ashanta, Krishna Bhakta, Nishkama. Nishkama means like not having these all desires, having the desires to serve the Lord. So that is encouraged. Okay.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
As a human being has been prasad, we say the prasad. In that case, the dharma of kama moksha, when the society given the prasad, what they have to perform, in the prasad, it also to the dharma of kama moksha. So here, those are designed for the liberation, and those are designed for the service of the Lord. So can you elaborate more?
See, yeah. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha also means even the material things is also mercy of the Lord. So, but that is mercy, like when we perform with a desire to attain material things. So then we will get a punya, so which is which is tainted with karma. No, so then we will get like good birth, beauty, knowledge, and things like that, right? So good wealth and things like that. So, but if we have the desire to desire to get liberation, and then we render service to the Lord, so then we get a punya, which will result in liberation. But if we don't have any desire of these kind of nature, we have only desire to serve the Lord, so then we will get a punya, of which we will get an opportunity to associate with pure devotees. We will get opportunity to hear the message of Krishna. So we will get opportunity to render devotional service to the Lord, in a very intimate way. So these kind of this ones like actually will be uncovered. So different kinds of punya will give rise to different kinds of results. So there is karma unmukhi punya is there, like Sukruti, and there is jnana unmukhi Sukruti is there, and then bhakti unmukhi Sukruti is also there. Right? So what kind of desires that I have, in while rendering devotional service, that makes what kind of Sukruti I actually get. Okay. So one question here: should we make our child to study modern studies and make a career, or we are wrong in this approach as a practicing devotee and parent? Okay, so now we should see that the other alternative is that we should actually make our children study based on the Vedic scriptures. So that's the ideal thing that we can actually offer. And in the lack of that such an opportunity, so then we may make the children study the modern studies, and then with a proper understanding of Vedic, this one also should be given. So we are trying to work out, and devotees also can try to see that these discussions are quite important. How to actually care for the children of our community, and how to actually give them an opportunity to get a good experience of Krishna consciousness, and so that they understand, they go to the studies, they try to make this one. So the modern studies is called as demoniac. Why it is called as demoniac? So it's a very, very clear description about this is there. So we see that like earth, water, fire, air, ether, the Panchabhuta is there. And out of them, we also have this body made of, and we have the 5 knowledge acquiring senses and 5 working senses, and then the 5 sense objects. So Panchabhutas, then 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses, and then the tanmatras or the sense objects, all put together is 20. So then we have mind, intelligence, false ego. Till here is the materialism, and then comes is the soul and the super soul. So the material subjects, the material science that is taught in the modern schools and colleges, it actually systematically avoids the super soul and the soul, and in fact to great extent the subtle aspects of mind and intelligence is also not taken into account. It only takes into account the matter. So when we give an education about this world, which doesn't comprise about the soul and the super soul, so then when we actually remove from any subject, if we remove the Lord in the picture, so then it becomes demoniac, right? So that is why the modern education is called as demoniac. So because they are systematically removing the Lord from the equation. Whereas from the Vedic scriptures we understand, even to make a chemical reaction, a chemical bonding to happen, The Lord sitting as Paramatma in that particular atom has to facilitate that particular thing. No science has come out with the reason why this particular bonding has to happen, why this particular chemical has to react in this particular way. It is they actually go to the last this one and they say like proton is there, neutron is there, electrons are there, and they are just revolving. So the question is how this electron is revolving. No, if my fan has to revolve, I have to pay electricity bill. And how is this electron revolving? No, without anybody paying any bill, right? So that's where the question comes. Then we say, yeah, that is where the Paramatma's role is there. That's where the Supreme Lord's role is there. So he is the responsible person to form this chemical reaction. And this kind of teaching of chemistry is called Krishna consciousness. So, but if we just try to teach the chemistry without after removing the Lord from the picture, so then it becomes demoniac. So understanding that it is demoniac, but then just to make a living in this world around us, so we have to facilitate this particular study. But at the same time, we should also try to see that we give the proper Krishna conscious culture. And if we can very soon set up something nice for the devotee children, wherein the devotee children doesn't need to go to the modern schools. So then it becomes very nice actually. If we can train our children. So one of the things that is there is homeschooling, and few Matajis coming together and then studying about this particular this one aspect of how to train children. And there are many nice many devotees are there who are capable of training. So we can take online training and things like that, and we can actually implement. So not necessary that every devotee should be engaged in Gita course, or every devotee should be engaged in outreach. So this is also very, very important aspect of the community, to take care of the children of the community. So we have a lot of desire and anxiety towards this direction. So if devotees can actually come together and do even a small pilot project of this one. Let the children go to the school and study, but at least in the weekend, if we can give a very nice, solid this one education for the children. So and then slowly, like homeschooling starts, and then many kids actually drop out from the modern schools, and then they learn the principles from the homeschooling. In fact, one of the amazing examples of homeschooling is Radhika Raman Prabhu and his brother. So like Radhika Raman Prabhu, he was never sent to school, and then he and his brother both were never sent to school, and then they were trained in Srimad Bhagavatam, and in fact they were made to teach Srimad Bhagavatam to other kids right from their child, when they were small, they were made to teach to other small children, and then at the age of 8 or something like that, so they were or 8th standard or something like that. So they were with 1 year of preparation, they were sent to appear in the board examination. So then they stood first in whole of United States, and then they actually went on to become great professors in Oxford and things like that. So they are not going to lose, the children are not going to lose the opportunity. So they actually will become more intelligent, and they'll become more amazing actually. So this is all good stats are there. There are some bad stats is also there. So we have to take a lot of caution, because it is our dear children. So we cannot, we cannot take it lightly and then do something shabby. So we have to do a thorough study of this, and then we have to try to do something in this direction, right? So this is what is my opinion on this particular subject. Any other questions?
So you mentioned that to fulfill some material desire also, we have to go through the process of bhakti. But doing bhakti with the intention of fulfilling material desire, how can we understand this?
So that is called karma yoga. So fulfilling the material desires, for that also, we have to perform service to the Lord, and we will get karma unmukhi sukruti, and through that we will be able to fulfill the material desire. So when we are doing this, because we are engaging in the worship of the Lord, some level of purification actually happens. But if we want intense purification, then we have to give up the path of karma, jnana, and yoga, and we have to take pure bhakti. So then we will get very fast purification, and we will be able to like attain the self-realization very quickly. Okay, so there is another question here. So if my understanding is correct, the blessings should be taken as Lord's mercy and the miseries as our karmic results or our offense, and avoid lamenting, beg for Lord's mercy, right? Yeah, so like the blessings upon us. So what are the blessings? No, if we are able to remember the Lord, that's a blessing of the Lord. If we are able to hear the holy name of the Lord, that's a blessing of the Lord. If we are able to meditate on the like deity worship, nice beautiful features of the Lord without any distraction, so then that should be taken as blessings of the Lord. So if we are able to get some like mahaprasad of the Lord, so that's actually blessings of the Lord. If we are actually able to get some association of some nice devotees who are like very much intense in progressing in Krishna consciousness, that should be taken as blessings of the Lord, right? So sometimes people also tell that Prabhu, I got some good marks in my exam, so that's great mercy of the Lord. So definitely it's mercy of the Lord, but if it is a great mercy of the Lord, then I'll be able to get the remembrance of the Lord. That's great mercy of the Lord. So this is some small, I say side benefit mercy of the Lord. And, so it is not very important mercy of the Lord, right? So we should see that remembrance of the Lord should be considered as the greatest mercy of the Lord, and association of devotees and opportunity to render devotional service should be taken as the mercy of the Lord, right? So that's the blessings of the Lord upon us. And then the miseries when it comes. So we as a responsible person, like we understand, responsible devotee, we understand this body actually belongs to the Lord. So when this body belongs to the Lord, so then this body should be utilized in the service of the Lord. It's an instrument which is given to be used in the service of the Lord. So then this body should be taken care of nicely, right? So now what is this meaning of this body should be taken care of nicely? So we should try to see that we should, if there is some difficulty is there, so if there is some, like we go through some, what is that, illness, or we go through some financial crisis or something like that. So there are some remedial measures. We should try to apply those remedial measures which are dharmic and which like we don't do too much endeavor in that direction, but whatever minimal endeavor that needs to be done in that particular direction, we should try to do that. And even then, if it doesn't work out, then we should take it as it is will of the Lord or our karma, and we should just try to execute our devotional service without any distraction, right? So in that way, we should try to follow this particular principle. Now we should try to work on the mitigating of the misery, to a like prescribed extent, so that we can actually discuss with our devotees, seniors. So and then we can actually try to endeavor to mitigate that. And then if it is not possible, we just continue, right? Okay, so another question. So I'm able to realize my anarthas, but not able to come out of it. Every day I beg and pray to the Lord. Is it because of my offenses I am committing unknowingly that I am not able to come out of them? Yeah, so we see that we have a long-standing attachment towards the material world, and because of which so many anarthas are developed. So artha means meaningful, anartha means like which is not meaningful, right? So artha, what is the real artha? Arthadam, like it is Srimad Bhagavatam actually mentions, the real artha is Krishna, and anything that facilitates our connection with Krishna is called artha. Like chanting of the names of the Lord is artha. It's meaningful activity, and rendering devotional service to the Lord is artha. And like considering oneself to the body, to be the body, that is not reality. I am spirit soul, I'm not this body. But then I have so much of identification as my body, so that is called anartha. And if I am the body, then I have the senses, and I have to supply some pleasing things to these senses. So I have to like gratify my senses, so that is called anartha, right? So these are all anarthas. So and then Srila Prabhupada often cites what is anartha. Anartha means like the four regulative principles that we follow, like this meat eating is an anartha, then gambling is an anartha, illicit sex is an anartha, and then intoxication is an anartha, right? So we should try to avoid these anarthas. Like some of the anarthas are quite quite gross, that can be avoided by rule. no, we don't eat meat, no, we don't have illicit connection, and no, we don't indulge in intoxication, and we don't indulge in gambling. So this is quite gross. We can easily do it. So no, somebody understands this, they can do that. So, but then the other anarthas are of another kind of anartha is understanding of the scriptures. No, like we are not able to understand the scriptures properly. So then we should beg and pray to the Lord. No, may the Lord reveal Himself in the form of the scriptures. And then we have another anartha. So anartha regarding the holy name. So wherein like we are not able to see the holy name as the Supreme Lord Himself. Even if one of the devotee friends of ours, they come to the home, so we cook nicely and then we greet them nicely and things like that. But then we have this anartha that Lord is coming to us, coming to our home every single day, through our chanting. But then we are not able to realize, we are not able to be jubilant in receiving the Lord. Rather, we try to, rather we are like, very bored and we are sleeping and things like that and all. So this is due to the anarthas, due to the misconceptions, that we have got, that has been ingrained into our system. So now, how do we actually come out of these anarthas? So initial stage of bhakti is called the anartha nivritti, or it is also called as the nama aparad stage. So nama aparad stage means we are expected to do devotional service with committing of offenses. That's how we will be able to start our devotional service. So, but then we should have due diligence and we should have a lot of interest in actually avoiding these offenses. And for that, this particular seminar, Harinam Chintamani seminar, will be very, very helpful. So wherein we can actually clearly see what are the anarthas or what are the offenses that we are committing. And then we can actually work on the antidote or the solution to that particular offense is also given. So it becomes very easy for us to identify what mistakes we are doing, and then we can actually apply the solution for it. Sometimes for some devotees, everything is okay, they are doing everything nicely, but then they don't have a very good appreciation of the spiritual master. They're just thinking that the spiritual master is like traveling somewhere, and he is not means like he's not that merciful, or he's like he's not delivering the message of Krishna to me and things like that and all. So maybe something trivial like this, it has to be worked upon. If we are not having the proper, like this one, no proper respect to the spiritual master, if you're not having proper respects to the holy names, if you're not having proper respects to the scriptures, or if you're not having proper attitude towards the paraphernalia of the Lord. So like any of these things can actually disturb our devotional service, and we may not know like what we are actually committing mistake. So but we should have strong desire that I need to have absorbed chanting, and that is the way I will perceive, I will actually measure the mercy of the Lord upon me. And if that is not there, Duttaiva Mihajani Nanuraga. So like if that is not there, then I am committing some mistake somewhere, right? So I should try to work upon them, right? So like you can actually go, if you have not attended Harinam Chintamani seminar, like you can actually try to view that in the YouTube, and you can try to make notes of them and things like that. Hare Krishna. Kartikeya, should we stop here? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
No, is that end?
Huh? Yeah, if you have a question.
No, is that end? Meeting end or not? Actually, my friend told me. Meeting end.
No.
Hare Krishna.
No.
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, I was just asking, should we close the session here?
Yes, but if there are no questions, we can.
Okay. So I just want to sincerely appreciate all the Panatur and Sarjapur devotees for successfully doing wonderful marathon. I just want to just mention one very important thing and conclude today's session. So this is about the description. Recently, we had the good fortune of hearing Rompad Maharaj in our temple, and Maharaj was giving a very wonderful description. So we have the like aspiration to attain the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna and to render service to them. So the approach to Radha and Krishna is called as the Raga Marga, or a path of cultivating intense attachment towards them. So he was actually mentioning, from the this one description of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, he describing the Gaudiya Math logo. Prabhu, like I'm using somebody's system here, so I'm not very comfortable with this one here. So if you can possibly display the Gaudiya Math logo, that will be helpful for me, Prabhu. I'm not able to find.
What happened to it?
Gaudiya Math logo, can you display, Prabhu?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Huh? Yeah, that is all. I'm just asking him to display here. Zoom, where is the Zoom?
Should I call?
Yeah, no, it's there. They have given a different PC which I'm not able to navigate through. Okay.
Here is the logo at the corner. Just a minute.
So in this logo, there is two portions. One is the left side and another is the right side. So till the time the logo comes, I'll just keep the description on. So the left side is called as the Vidhi Marga. So we are doing the
alternating.
What's that?
No, please continue.
So the left side is called the Vidhi Marga, or the path of rules and regulations, and the right side is called as the Raga Marga, the path of cultivating intense attachment to the divine couple Radha and Krishna. Right? So you can zoom in, Prabhu. Okay. So we can see that Vidhi is mentioned on the left side and Raga is mentioned on the right side. Right? And in the top is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the bottom is Vaishnava Tilak and Guru Gaudiya. Right? So this is the Gaudiya Math's principle. Like Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is a liberated Acharya actually. So now we see on the Vidhi Marga, so on the path of rules and regulations, we have the book called Pancharatra. So Pancharatra is the book which is governing the deity worship. Right? So and we worship the Lord. When we are worshipping Shri Shri Radha and Krishna in the altar, so we actually worship them as Lakshmi Narayan in the opulent feature. Right? And then to worship Shri Shri Lakshmi Narayan, so what we are trying to do, we are using the process of Archana Vidhi. That is mentioned bottom. So for Archana, bell is required and Dhoop and Deep and things like that and all. So that is the Vidhi Marga that we are following. And then the Raga Marga is there. So the Raga Marga is the Bhagavatam. So now we are trying to study Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is a practice to attain intense attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord. And then in the Raga Marga, so we worship Radha and Krishna by studying Srimad Bhagavatam and then performing Kirtana. And with performing Kirtana, there is one unique looking thing that is there, that is called the printing press. So like Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was so much about establishing a printing press, because this is the instruction of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, the father of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, that we should establish printing presses and we should distribute these books in millions, right? So, and then we even see the immediate associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the 6 Goswamis. So amongst them, Jiva Goswami, he trains Srinivasacharya, Narottam Das Thakur, and Shamanand Pandit, and then he gives them all the books of the Goswamis, and then he sets out them for book distribution party. And then in one of the reports that Srinivasacharya actually gives in the early book distribution reports, so then he mentions that to copy these books and to distribute them, it's taking so much of time. So like maybe in the future there should be some mechanism in which the books can be produced much faster and then distributed, right? So And we see that these facilities, these modern facilities, have manifested because of the desire of these great acharyas. And we are able to get books printed so easily. And then we are trying to distribute these books in the streets. So this is actually, in the medium of practice of Raga Bhakti, right? So we are actually, trying to develop attachment, intense attachment to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. So, like, I'm very, very grateful to all the devotees, like, for taking up this nice sadhana. Okay, so I've not explained the central portion. The central portion is the nama, the holy name, of the Lord. So we should always chant the holy names of the Lord. That's the most primary element of our devotional service, and we should try to render service to the Lord in the form of Archana Vidhi. And then we should also try to develop intense attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord by studying Srimad Bhagavatam, by performing kirtan, and also performing book distribution, right? So this is a very, very integral and very important activity, in our Krishna consciousness. So I am very grateful that all the devotees took part in this particular activity. So why am I grateful? It is to your credit, right? So, like, it's your advantage, like you did this book distribution. But I'm grateful that because so many devotees are, like, advancing in devotional service, and more we advance in Krishna consciousness, more the mission of Krishna consciousness will spread. More all of you become very nice devotees of the Lord, more we will be able to help many, many souls, that are there, suffering in this material world, right? So it is very thankless task. It may not be that book distribution, the books that we are distributing, so that is going to make an effect. And because we are distributing the books, we are going to become a nice devotee of Krishna. We are going to, by Krishna's grace, we will get intense attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord. And in this way, we can be a saving, we can actually offer help to many, many people, right? So, like, who are suffering in this material world. So, thanks a lot for this wonderful book distribution endeavor. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving us the association. It's very nice that once in a month you're addressing this entire congregation. Yes, as you rightly said, in fact, even I couldn't go to do book distribution the way they were doing. Almost every single day we had some 3-4 teams on the street. I remember in Sarjapur there was only Mataji's team. Almost every day, 5-6 Matajis on the street. Mataji power was there on the street, and they were doing amazing book distribution. And on weekends, we had so many stalls and full day book distribution. And there were few devotees in the remote places who were calling and doing seva, to distribute books, collecting for Shastradhan and all that. So they've literally put in a lot of hard work, hard efforts. So thank you very much for such kind words. By your blessings, we all can grow in Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna.
Let us thank His Grace Hariksetra Prabhu by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare